All right, hey guys, welcome back to another video. I was gonna kind of wait to do this, but as you can tell by the title, we've got some new Gen Con announcements. I was gonna wait to kind of talk about the Agents of SHEILD stuff for Marvel Champions, but then the Legendary stuff came, and I figured let's just get this out and we'll talk about it. And I want to know what you guys think. So I'm really excited about this. So let's just hop over to BGG and we'll take a look at some of the announcements that are on BGG about that stuff. Fantasy Flight did a video or something today. I was at work, so I only saw like the recap of it. And they talked about some other stuff, but of course, Marvel Champions is the thing we care about. So, Marvel Champions. We know that the next set is going to be Agents of SHEILD, the next expansion, which I think if that means... I don't know if there's been anything else that they've announced aside from that. So Agents of SHIELD, we know that's coming next. This is the first little bit of a screenshot. I don't know if there's another screenshot of anything else in here. But this is cool. I know it's been sort of mixed because I think people are wanting Fantastic Four and wanting Daredevil and the Defenders. And I want Moon Knight is the character that I want the most coming up of the next stuff. So I get it. However, this will be a nice... I like anything that makes the old stuff approach in a different light. So, you know, we've had a lot of new X-Men stuff. There's been a lot of X-Men. And of course, some of the X-Men stuff you can use some of the cards, but everything's been focused on them. So this will kind of give us an opportunity to go back to some of the cards, like a Black Widow, like maybe some of the early characters, and kind of like the support for those characters may come with these cards. So that has me excited just because I like finding new ways to play old stuff or seeing how the new stuff interacts with the old stuff. So I think it's easy to speculate that this is going to be Nick Fury for sure. The other character, there's been a lot of speculation that's Maria Hill or Quake. I think it's Quake. No, let me rephrase. I hope it's Quake. Quake is, I think, the much more interesting of the characters. Nothing against Maria Hill super duper that much. However, I just think Quake's a cooler character. Plus, Quake, I think at Maria Hill probably too. At one point, they're both directors of SHIELD. So, you know what? Whatever. I hope it's Quake, and I hope we have, and then this is obviously Nick Fury. If they decide to do like a expansion box, which I don't think will come until next year because Nightcrawler is in September. We just got Jubilee. Nightcrawler is in September, and then Magneto would be in November. There's no room for this, I think, this year. I hope they don't wait till March. I'm hoping it's like maybe January or February, and then we'll get this, and then we can get a second box later down the year. I have speculation on that. It has no basis in any sort of knowing of anything or any... It's just my guess, and I think would make sense from a marketing perspective, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, assuming that we do a standard wave, big box, 4 hero packs, this will contain Nick Fury and Quake, is what I'm hoping. The hero packs, there's been a lot of kind of speculation on that too. Everybody kept saying Falcon. We don't want Falcon. I want Captain America. That's Sam Wilson. It'll be Captain America, and it's just Sam Wilson instead. Give us that. There's no reason not to do it at this point because he is the Captain America of the MCU right now. It just makes sense. There's no reason to make him Falcon. His signature ally can be Joaquin Torres Falcon, but I don't think there needs to be a... We don't need a Falcon from a Sam Wilson perspective. I don't think it's necessary. Speaking of which, signature ally for Nick Fury will probably be Maria Hill. I don't know who Quake's would be because I don't know enough about her character from... I just know about her as an Inhuman and as working for SHIELD from Agents of SHIELD, and I really like her character in Marvel Legendary. I think she's a cool character, and I think her powers are cool, and I think we can obviously get into the Inhuman side of things a little bit with her. Maybe some of her allies or something could be, or like some of the, maybe some allies could be that for her, but I don't know who her signature ally would be. So, and I also think because every one of these waves will do at least one of every aspect as their pre-con, and then of course 2 have to double up because there are 6. With the exception, I guess, of the last one because Deadpool had his own. So I think Nick Fury is easily leadership. I think that's super easy. If we get Captain America, I think that's an easy thing to be leadership as well. Those are taken care of. If this is a Quake, I think Quake is going to be Justice because her ally's Justice, and I think there's a lot of times where they will mirror the ally the ally will be like the same thing as the hero later down the road. I could be making that up, but I feel like that's true. I don't know. So I think she would be Justice if Quake is our additional hero in this box. Then if we had so it leaves 3 characters left. So I think Bucky is probably an easy choice. Make him protection or aggression. I don't think he would be Justice. I can see him being either one of those, but maybe more on the aggression side. Mockingbird is another very good choice, and she could be probably protection. And then the 6th one, there's a gambit of characters that could be it. Maria Hill definitely could. I'm probably least enthusiastic about Maria Hill if we get that. I would like something a little weirder, like, you could do like a Rick Jones or something. I think Rick Jones works with SHEILD. He's SHEILD and Legendary, so I'm assuming that there can be some, so that makes sense from a comic book perspective. And he could be protection even or aggression. So that would be cool. But yeah, I think the wave for sure, Nick Fury, Captain America, so Nick Fury and Quake in the box, Captain America, Bucky, Mockingbird, those are easy choices. And then as the last one, I don't know. I don't think we'll get a Coulson. I don't think we'll get... Oh, actually, that would be Quake's... They would make Quake's signature ally Coulson because... And they would have May and Fitz and Simmons. We would probably get those characters as gray allies, and they would be like can only be like they would. I wouldn't be surprised if they have that similar like play only if your character has a shield trait, and it's like they're like the Web Warrior. They're like the Web Warrior gray allies, but for shield. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that stuff because most of the public's knowledge of Agents of Shield is probably from the television show, and I know that like that the MCU, and that's like MCU adjacent, I guess. But like the movie continuity and the show continuity follows a lot of the comics are kind of aligning themselves with the movies because now it's all under one deal, more so than it has been in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got those characters in this set, and then of course like it would make the most sense with them, especially with Nick Fury being leadership because he would be like he would have all of them in his deck. But I could see like Quake's signature ally being Coulson, and then we get like a gray Coulson or like because we already have a Justice Coulson. So I don't know. We'll see. Who do I want the 6th to be, though? Maybe they could do, like, Deathlock or something. That would be cool, because that would also be, like, that's another character from the Marvel Legendary Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So Deathlock would be a cool one, and have him, like, have all this tech stuff, and maybe he could be, I don't know. We'll see. But that's who I think. They talked about AIM being part of the antagonistic group that's involved with this announcement. So AIM, you obviously get MODOK. You can I think another kind of classic Hydra / SHIELD villain could be Zemo. So you get Baron Zemo, you get MODOK. I think you could totally do for it. So my speculation and why I think we'll get Captain America, Sam Wilson, and it won't be Falcon, because this kind of lines up with the release. These will line up with the release of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. And you could totally lean into that as a effectively cross, like, oh, I just saw the movie for like, there's Red Hulk, there's, the leader, and I just saw that movie, and now I want to get the Marvel Champion stuff that's for that. Like, I don't know if that's a concerted effort from Fantasy Flight or Marvel, but I think it would make sense, and I don't know how licensing work. I'm just talking completely off my head. I have no idea how licensing work. But to me, that would make a lot of sense because if this comes out early next year, that film comes out, and then as these hero packs are trickling out, we're going to run into May, which is when Thunderbolts comes out. So you have Bucky, you have Sentry as a possible villain, and he could be the big villain of the box because Sentry, and actually Sentry would be a cool last character, and because the Sentry basically switches between a villain and a hero. So Sentry could be like the Magneto for this wave, or like this set of stuff. Is we have a scenario for him, and then there's a hero pack for him. Would be Nebula too. So Sentry would be a good one to kind of do that with. But like if this box has Zemo, MODOK, the leader, Red Hulk, and Sentry, like that would totally work. And those are all characters that are like everybody knows those characters. And they will know the leader. They will know Red Hulk by the time this stuff releases because the movies will be out. And then that also leads into like you could have a Yelena Belova as another like White Widow, and she could be another Agent of Shield character, and that would be one of the characters they would use for of the 4 hero packs. That could be one of them because she's going to be probably the main character. Her and Bucky are like the main characters of Thunderbolts. So I think that's where my thought process is with like how they're going to tie in those things. There's a lot of, I mean, that's not always true. Obviously, Venom Goblin has never been done on screen, and I didn't know about Venom Goblin until I got that box. So like, obviously they could do whatever they want, but you could work that in given that that's the kind of place we're leaning towards with the content for Champions and the movies that are coming. And then too, because obviously everybody's been hyped on Fantastic Four, if say January or February this box comes, and then they do 2 months later 2 hero packs, 2 months later 2 hero packs, and then in the summer you do Fantastic Four box, expansion box with, you know, Reed and Sue, or Reed and the Thing or something like that. And then you got Mole Man, Doctor Doom, Galactus, probably 2 Doctor Dooms honestly, and I don't know, Super Skrull or something as your like villains, your scenarios there. Yeah, so you would have, this is my guess, it'd be Mole Man, Super Skrull, Doctor Doom, Galactus, and then like God Emperor Doom. Like you'd have to have like a crazy Doom. That would like be the order that I would think that would go in. And then you do that, and that's going to release around the time the Fantastic Four movie comes out. And then you could spend some time working that phase and like doing the other 2 characters, so Johnny and Sue, if one of like however Reed will definitely be in the box. The second one I don't know, and Reed will probably be leadership, and Johnny's going to be aggression, and Sue can be protection. The Thing could also be aggression, and then you'd have to have the other 2 characters maybe be like Franklin and Valeria, like their kids. Or you could also do a thing where Doctor Doom's a character and he's a hero, because you can totally do that and it would make sense. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate too far because we haven't had anything announced, but if they did that pattern, it would match up with like the content that is being released by the greater Marvel studios, and then that you could just easily cross promote or get a higher hit rate on some of these things because you're seeing that stuff from the movie perspective. That's at least my speculation. And then after Fantastic Four is done, you lead into Defenders with Daredevil, Jessica Jones, like other Marvel Knights. So Daredevil, Jessica Jones, you have Blade, Moon Knight. But you do the Defender stuff, and then you lead into Midnight Suns with because there's a lot of crossover with those characters. So you can get into Midnight Suns from the Defender stuff. So anyway, that's a big speculative thing down the road. Not going to worry about it. I want to know what you guys think. Who do you guys think we're going to see as heroes? Who do you guys think we're going to see as the scenarios for this? And what the heroes are, what aspects you think that the precons are going to come with. I've said my piece. Now let's get into the thing that really made me want to do this video. And we've got a spreadsheet. No, I'm kidding. That's for later. We've got Marvel Legendary, a 2nd edition core set is on its way. So this is from Bagel Top. You guys probably know who he is. If you don't, go check him out. But he posted this, so all the credit to him. I'll have the link for this in the description, as well as the link for the Marvel Champions thread and description for BGG. I really want to get into this because I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of speculation, and I'd like to know what you guys think of all this stuff. So just off the top, this has been edited a few times because he's been adding stuff as he's learned more. So new refresh of the core set, not making the current core set anymore. So the current core set will go into, it'll be going out of print. 550 cards, all new artwork. So that means that there are 50 additional cards, which leads to the 4th bullet point, at least 50 cards of newer updated content. There's going to be 50 new cards because the core set has 50 cards, so or 500 cards. So 50 cards are new regardless. Devin Lowe involved the entire time. No new mechanics or keywords, but some heroes will be reworked. Widow is no longer broken. Then we have not currently available for sale, expected sometime later this year, which has me hyped because maybe after Weapon X this comes out and then we can begin the new year with new stuff. Although if this is the last thing they ever did, I would also be excited about that too because it means no more chasing out stuff down. But anyway, Spider-Man Miles Morales is added as a new character and has a promo. We'll look at that in a bit. And then this will contain a keyword reference guide of playmat and dividers. Playmats are always welcome. They've been killing it with the playmats. That is always welcome. I'm hyped for that. Keyword reference. So this means 2 things to me. It means one, that, wait, maybe it only means one thing to me. Are they done? Is this it? Because if you're going to have a keywords reference guide, this is, okay, so hold on. The two things. No new keywords or mechanics. So does that mean, so this could be one of two things. I'm sorry. I'm completely all over the place. Clearly unscripted. Are the reworks of the characters going to include keywords that they didn't have before? So does Wolverine have excessive violence, for instance, or something to that effect? Of the cards we've seen now, nothing would indicate that. But that would mean that while there are no new keywords or new mechanics, they're reusing old ones by updating characters. And then the keyword reference guide is for those keywords that are being reused for this set. That's option one. I think it's unlikely, which leads me to option number two, which is a keyword guide for all existing keywords throughout all of Marvel Legendary. And if that's the case, that would mean one of two things. It would mean, number one, that, or no, I'm sorry, I mean one of three things, sorry. Option number one is that it is a, as of that moment, a keyword list that contains every keyword up to that point, and there is no way to future-proof it because when we get new keywords, it just doesn't have those. That's option number one. Option number two is that they are never going to make new keywords again, and all the keywords will be recycled. So this will be a forever document that will contain every keyword, and when we get new expansions, they're just bringing back old keywords. I would be totally fine with that. We have 1,000 keywords, and aside from adding in like a coin, I don't know, or a dice roll, I don't really know. Like, they've really exhausted how these keywords work. Like, there are so many ways these keywords work that at this point, like, you don't really need to add anymore. I think that's enough. Or number three option, which is the least likely. This is the last thing they're releasing and they're done. And then this will be a reference guide to every keyword because there will be no more new content. The order in which I stated all that stuff makes me think that that's how it's going to be, the likeliness of it. It's just this is going to have everything up until a certain point, and then after that, we'll have to add them with a supplementary document or whatever. Nonetheless, I'm hoping it's more of one of the latter options than the first option, that it is actually a single document that contains every keyword for Marvel Legendary. That's what I hope for, because it just would be great to have a one-stop shop for that, and I have to flip through this big book to flip through to see which one is which. Anyway, I'm assuming the dividers aren't dividers in the sense that, like, here's a special divider for Black Widow and Spider-Man. Like, they're probably just the normal, but I could be wrong. Playmat, obviously dope. And let's talk about this artwork. So let's bring up the picture here. I'm a huge fan of this artwork. I think it's great. I'm super looking forward to it. I think Loki's kind of goofy, but I think Magneto looks great. I think Wolverine looks great. I think the villains look great. I think the Sentinels look incredible. Like, I think this artwork is top-notch. I'm a big fan of this artwork. Now, let's take a look at the box and see if we get anything interesting here. So, we obviously, it says second edition Legendary and original game design by Devin Lowe. We have a Captain America. It's a little more MCU-esque and less comic-esque, but that's okay. We've got Storm here, Magneto. The Sentinels look great. We've got the Wolverine, which he looks good. We've got Sabretooth and Juggernaut. We've got Enchantress, some Frost Giants in the background. We have Loki. So clearly, Loki, Magneto are back. That doesn't seem to be a surprise. So we'll do some speculation towards the end, but let's take a look more at these pictures. Now, here's a reworking of one of the Spider-Man cards. So if we take a look at that, so we'll look at Spider-Man Web Shooter. So this card, I think, is a different color in the main set, because I don't think the black card, he has his red is rare. I think his uncommon, which one's the one that rescues bystanders, is the only black card he has. So this is the black card, and it makes sense because web shooters are technology, so it makes sense. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 2 or less, draw it. And then the big thing here is you play a black hero, you get +1 attack. Yes. The thing that has always held me back on Spider-Man is that I don't feel like the 2 cost 1 attack, and like he works on drawing 2s. It just doesn't work unless you have an all Spider deck. Or you're, like, I guess, getting cards that are weak, from like not weak, but lower cost, but are typically commons in every other set. So This helps because at least if you can consistently get the +1, if you're not getting the card draw, it's a 2/2, which is a cheap 2 attack card, which is great. Because look, Black Widow is a 2 attack, a 5 attack, it's a 2 attack, 5 cost card. Making him +1 attack is huge, in my opinion. It's why I think all the a lot of the other Spider-Man heroes are so much better, because 2 attack is just consistently better. So that's a huge plus for me. Super excited about that. This Black Widow uncommon looks completely brand new. You may KO a card from your discard pile if you do rescue a bystander. This effect seems to be her other... So she had a red card that did this, right? Let me go look. Okay, so her uncommon, so her current uncommon is a 4 attack or 4 cost. It's Covert Operations, which is going to be +1 for each bystander in your victory pile. That card is gone because this is her new uncommon. And then Dangerous Rescue is a common, so it's the same name, different card, different color, because Dangerous Rescue is red, and it's play a red hero, KO a card from your hand or discard pile if you do rescue a bystander. So that's changing that out. And then presuming there's one of her other cards is a red. One of her commons is red. I don't remember where I saw it, but it definitely exists. So I don't know if it was on Reddit or something, but it's definitely out there. Which means that probably the Mission Accomplished card will be in the Mission Accomplished card will be in there as draw a card, play a black hero, rescue a bystander. That'll probably be there. So yeah, so they've completely reworked that perspective, making that card an uncommon instead of a common, which means it's harder to KO stuff. But it is what it is. And then Wolverine, man, this artwork is so dope. This artwork is sick. This artwork is incredible. This artwork is amazing. This is great. And this suit, I've grown to have a better appreciation for this suit. It's amazing. Anyway, this is a reworking clearly of his uncommon, which was a 5-cost card. Draw 2 cards, you play a yellow hero. It's 6 costs now. So that's been reworked. So clearly we can see some changes have been made. That's probably why they showed these off, because this is some of the changes that they're working on. We have another shot of the box with those cards. And then here's the promo for Miles Morales. So Spider-Man, and it says Miles Morales. Jump Dimensions. It's a spider hero. So Spider-Man is not alone in this box for a spider hero. Play a black card. He's a tech card black. 2 attack, 2 cost. Rescue a bystander, then discard up to 3 cards. When you draw a new hand this turn, draw as many cards as you discarded this way. Pretty straightforward. Really good. I don't know. I wonder if the promo is just this art, like this suit style, and then we get a different suit for like his, because we already have his classic black and red suit with the other Miles Morales. So it'll be interesting to see how they take that approach for that. And then I think, so here's some new artwork for the other characters here. So we've got Gambit and Rogue, looks so good. And then Captain America, and there's Iron Man, which we just see the back of Iron Man. Man, the Gambit and Rogue look really good. Okay. So let's see what people have said. Let me go back a little bit. So at least 50 new cards. We know that's going to be a thing. Let's see. Somebody says no Epic Masterminds, but Bagel goes and says they're still done a TTL's wait. So we'll probably, I mean, I think it's very, very likely we're going to get Epic versions of the Masterminds, and probably a more difficult Red Skull. Because honestly, Loki's pretty solid where he is. I think you could bump up. Doom is probably decently solid, or maybe make him 11 attack. I think Magneto can bump up to 9 or 10, and then I think make Red Skull like 9 or 10 too, and bump him up. I think you can make them stronger. So, and my guess is probably going to be 60 MSRP. I mean, it's kind of what they've been doing, although it's a lot of cards, so it might be more. It might be closer to like 80 or 70. And there's, yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else. It's second edition, not entire. Wait, so will the old expansions work with the second edition? It's the second edition of the core, not entirely new structure. So yes, it's compatible. They'll sell previous games after all. Yeah, they went. Yeah. And then new solo mode. It's going to be probably the what if solo mode, which is great because that's the one that we should be going off of anyway. This I don't think is going to happen, and I'll come to my thoughts on that. I don't think we're going to get that. Let's see. I guess if you're listening to this and not reading the screen. I don't think we'll get sidekicks and special shield officers. Okay, so let's do some speculation. We know that we have 550 cards. We know that the regular core set is 500 cards. So we have 50 new cards. We know that Miles Morales is going to be 14 of the new cards. We know that for sure. So we need to... Okay, so we need to fill in 36 cards. Who do we think is going to be in here? Now, the base set, I believe, if we go back to the original base set and we were to break that out, it's 500 cards. We know that we have, for heroes, there are, I believe, 15 heroes times the 14 cards for each hero. We know that their starter cards, there are 60, right? Because we've got the 12 times 5, so that's 60 starter. Wounds, officers, bystanders. Are these all 50? Or I'm sorry, all 30? We know that there are 8 schemes. We know there are masterminds, there are 4. There are 4 times 5, so there are 20 mastermind cards. Where are we at on totals here? We're at 388. We know villains, how many villains there are, and how many henchmen. There are Doombots, Hand Ninjas, Sentinels. Is that it for the henchmen? So that's 30. Trying to see where we're at on here. Villain groups. What am I missing? Villain groups. Are there 4? That puts us at 450. I gotta be missing something. Okay, wounds. Bystanders, officers. I don't even know why I'm trying to figure this out when I can look it up. Maybe there are 5 villain groups. Okay. 30 shield officers, 30 wounds, 30 bystanders. There's 12 starter cards. Oh, mass strikes and scheme twists. So master strikes... twists. Presuming there's 11 of these and 5 of these. What else am I missing here? Oh, game contents. This says 560 cards. Oh, there's 4 henchmen groups. Oh, wrong thing. There's 4 henchmen groups. There's 7 villain groups. I didn't realize there were 7 villain groups. That's 56 cards. That's 500. There's 15 heroes. Oh, because it's 60 dividers. Lame. Okay, so that is the current contents for the core set. So given that information, what could we see be added? We know for sure we get an extra hero. That puts us at 36 remaining cards. Do we get an initial scheme? Do we get another mastermind? Do we get another henchman group? The only thing I could think of that would be something that is not present here but is going to be present here could be special bystanders. I could see them throwing in 5 or so. So we're going to likely get every single same hero the 60 starter cards, the 30, all this stuff's going to be the same. So if we're looking at other possible, so we'll say hero number 2 is an option. So hero 2, possible option, that's 14 cards. You have a mastermind, 5. You have a villain group that mastermind oversees, which will be 8. You could either have 9 special bystanders, which seems like a lot, or if we did a villain group 2, and then special bystander could be 1, and that could mean that special one could be Stan Lee. I mean, you could totally do that. Or you could do, we could see another, instead of another this, we could see henchman for 10 and then make this 5. I don't think we're going to get another, I don't, like, if we would, I think we at most get one master. I mean, this would be like a new hero, a new mastermind, this is like a new of everything. And then we get another villain group. Or this is 10 and this is, or this is, I don't know, 9 and this is 4. And that's schemes. And we get 12 schemes. That's a possibility. That gives you a little bit of new of everything. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd like to know what you guys think would be what is the breakdown of the 50 cards, of the 36 remaining cards? What do you guys think it is? I think if I were to give a hope, I want probably another mastermind. I think I'd probably want this breakdown, honestly. That gives me one new thing of everything. But that, yeah, I'd like to know what you guys think are going to be, what are going to comprise the remaining 36 cards in the new set. With all that being said, are you guys excited about this? Is this going to prompt you to buy this? Are you going to not, because there won't be enough of a difference since from the original? You know, I was going to be on board if they had just did the exact same core set and just changed the artwork. I would have bought it. Because I think it's, you know, it's all fine. So I think the fact that they're actually reworking cards puts me actually in a bit of a conundrum, because now we're dealing with, we have effectively, we would have 2 versions of all these cards. Like if there's tweaks done to every single one of these, like if Black Widow's completely different, if Spider-Man's, I mean, not even completely different. Because I guess if the only thing that's changing with like Wolverine is like the cost of this card, then that doesn't really change him overall. So it kind of makes the original set redundant from a, like, you couldn't have like the version 1 and version 2 and use them both. But it almost does it to where, like, if every single one that was introduced in the MCU core box is being reintroduced here, but then is altered in one way or another, then you can use the MCU core box as those characters and then use this. Like, will this make the MCU core box different from the original core set? And if that's the case, it may be worth tracking that down to have that content. And then, like, the original core set is completely obsolete. I'm excited for this. I've been excited for this. I was hoping they'd do this a few years ago. And I have an idea on what I would want to do with my old cards, because I'm going to replace everything. We're swapping it all out, baby. Swapping out the wounds. We're swapping out the bystanders. We're swapping out the starter cards. We're swapping out the shield officers. We're swapping them all out. Maybe those won't even be different. Maybe they'll all be the same. We won't have to. Anyway, I've talked for long enough. That's 30 minutes. I'd like to know what you guys think of everything and what you guys are most excited for. And down below, give me your thoughts on who the cards, the characters for champions is, and what you'd like to see. What makes this extra 50 cards? Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.